Hello, this is Mr. O, and today I'm going to talk about the basic proportions of the face. Now, I'm going to do this in regards to an assignment for my students, and basically it's a theme. So you're going to do half your face realistically, and then you're going to change the other half of your face. You don't have to, you can keep it normal, just a normal self-portrait, or you can do a robot apocalypse self-portrait, a zombie apocalypse self-portrait, or realistic, a demon apocalypse self-portrait. I think that's probably the most normal for teenagers anyway, drawing themselves looking like demons. And everything I'm going to go with is going to be facing towards you. If you look at this face, I was looking at my school photo, and my head's a little turned, so you can see my ear and stuff like that, and you don't see it over here. The difference will be there'll be balance, and so I want things to look as symmetric as possible. But as I said, these are very basic, very generic proportions, so when you draw yourself, use your camera on your Chromebook, use a mirror, use something that shows a reflective surface, or use Best by Memory, and to make it look like you. The reason I kind of do the apocalypse self-portraits of some sort is, unfortunately for most students, this is their first time getting to do a true self-portrait realistically. And learning how to find the proportions is the most crucial thing. The biggest problem I think students have actually comes to the eyes. And they can draw the one eye, but they can never draw the other one balanced, and they spend so much time just doing those two eyes. I decided it doesn't really matter. If you make it a robotic eye, a skull type eye, a demon eye, doesn't have to look like the other eye. It just needs to be somewhat in the same proportion. I'm going to be drawing with a Ticonderoga. Now for me, I'm going to be using my kneaded eraser for when I erase, for the most part. You will see, due to time, I'll use my opposite end. Now, this has been the one pencil I've been using the whole time for all my videos, 33 videos. And notice how much of the eraser I used, not very much. I kind of rely on the large eraser. So if you have a large eraser, this is how you're supposed to use it. This is just for something real quick or something detailed that you want to erase, and you don't want to just use it up, because that's when you start destroying your pencil. Now, the reason I say Ticonderoga is, as a drawing or sketching pencil, I think it's, for the price, one of the best out there. They're more expensive than a regular 12-pack, but if you buy them on sale, it's pretty decent, and you can get a lot of values out of this softer pencil. It's just a little softer than the others for the graphite or the lead, and it will make everything a little easier. I think I have talked about that in a previous drawing video, or a video based on pencils. Now, to do the head, the very first thing I would have students do is do a page of just head shapes. And head shape starts off with a circle. And notice how I go two different directions. I'm using multiple lines, but if I want to draw a circle, I usually just do two lines. I don't do the one. I find I have better control over my circle this way. And I do very sketcherly lines. Now I'm going to go down like a jaw and do a U shape at the end and by doing that, I can change the shape of my head. Do you see where I'm going here? So if I was doing comic book or anime, manga type characters, this would be a pretty awesome practice, because by changing the shape of the U, you change the shape of the face. And I've drawn three faces and have three different shapes. Now, if I'm doing one character, let's say I'm doing myself and this is more my jaw or this is more my jaw, That's how I would probably practice for this assignment and just kind of go through. Because we're going to do it on a 9 by 12 paper. And as I'm sketching, I'm going to draw a nice large circle. See how large that is? I'm not going to worry about hair or anything on top of my head right now. Just want to make sure my jaw fits, maybe a little bit of my neck and shoulders like you saw in my previous picture. There's my neck, and I'm going to go out to my shoulders. Notice that the shoulders slant down. Now, here's something about the neck, masculine versus feminine neck. One, in middle school, you don't worry about it. Sometimes both boys and girls have a much thinner neck and there's a curve to it where, let's say a young man has been playing football or a young lady has been doing a lot of swimming or diving. Her neck will build a little more muscle and it's a little straighter. I hope that kind of makes sense. Since I'm an old football coach, but I don't work out as well as I should, I do have a little curve coming back to my neck as it's getting softer. And I'm not going to worry about down there just yet. Now, from the top of your head to the bottom of your chin, this is where you're going to put your eye lines. From your eye to your chin is where your nose is. And guess where I hit? This is how you know you made a good circle and a good U. It should hit the bottom of the circle, okay? So make sure yours is doing that. From the middle of your nose and your chin is going to be your mouth. Now, if you want to bring a center line, you can. It'll look like a bullseye. That's why I avoid it, because some people don't understand how that works. Now, your head is 4.5 to 5 eyes wide. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to mark basically an eye's width right here. And this will give me approximately 5 eyes. Now I'm going to go a little wider, and I think it's just perfect. As you can see, it's not a perfect measurement, but that's how I would do it in general, okay? My nose, my mouth. Now I'm just going to do, let's see, I'm going to do the top part of my eye. You'll notice I kind of do a curve like a football, not a baseball. But you'll notice it's elongated, meaning it's wider, closer to the nose or closer to the center than it is. And notice my pupil. It's going through that line. It's not my pupil, that would be my iris. So this is my first demonstration on this, so I'm going to make some mistakes and I apologize for that. But guys, you just stay with me. All right, I'm going to stop my eye right there, even though it's incomplete, because I'm going to get everything else sketched. My nose, I'm going to do a smile, and I'll probably do separate videos on different parts of the body. And I'm going to put a hook to the side here and a hook to the side there. This is beginning nose. A C, a backward C, and then right here where the ridge of my eye will be, I'm going to do one line. I'm not going to worry about this ridge. I usually shade that in, but if I'm going to do something in color, I don't want to shade that in either. I'll let color do that for me. Now you'll notice that I got my one nostril, since I'm drawing in a different way, a little up. All I have to do is make a quick adjustment, pull that nose down. So even I make mistakes as I do this. We're not perfect, and you will make some mistakes. That's why you're going to practice sketching this first several times. I think newer artists always believe the first time out, and got my little dip in my mouth, first time out, everything is going to be perfect. And that's just not the case. And I have thinner lips, so I'm going to do this. And now watch my bottom lip. Now actually, let's take a look at that upper lip. Kind of looks like a mustache, or it looks like a flying M bird that you double lined, right? The bottom lip is kind of like an upside down slug. You do the thick middle part, and then just do a line here and a line there. and you got yourself a closed mouth. Now, of course, that doesn't show a lot of expression. So for me, I would pull my mouth up, and I would actually draw my bottom lip open. And you see how I just did that? And that way I can draw some teeth, and teeth are a totally different thing, especially if you have trouble drawing that type of stuff. Now notice the width of my mouth goes into a triangle with my nose. Now I'm not gonna, any extra lines you draw, the older it gets. So as I get further along with this, you'll find out I'm going to add more lines, and when I change half my face into something, you will find that I'm going to alter my mouth and then maybe exaggerate some parts. Now, I'm going to go with the ear, top of the eye, bottom of the nose, and there's no easy way to say how to draw the ear. It could be a sideways flip-flop. It could make you think of a cup. And I will tell you, I just kind of draw a few lines. Notice that it does have a lobe. Now, some of you have to check. Some of you will draw your lobes attached to your cheek or attached to the back jaw because you don't have a loose lobe, I should call it. And don't worry if you don't. It is quite normal. And there's some sort of Y, backwards Y that kind of goes in your ear, and I just kind of draw that. You'll see that I did something like that, but I didn't exaggerate it enough. I should have went up a little further up here, and that's basically all I do. And then I erase this line, and then I have an ear that's not sticking out too much. Now, you may have an ear that sticks out a lot. Don't worry about that. You just draw it because that's one of your features. Now, what do you do when you have long hair and you can't see your ears? Well, you don't draw your ears, but it is good to practice though, okay? And then I have thin eyebrows, but notice how I use dashes. They go the length of your eye, and there's a space because there's an eyelid up here. And I'm going to just draw a little bit of the bottom of my eye there, because since I'm older, now if you don't want to draw the bottom part of your eye, that's okay. You're younger. The more lines you start drawing, notice that it's starting to age my face a little bit. Now I'm going to talk about the pupil. And I will just draw a little bit of the pupil. I'm not too worried about leaving a gleam. Don't worry if you don't leave a gleam. You can go back in with the eraser there. And it looks kind of strange by itself, but there will be a little bit more shading involved, and I always find just a little larger with the pupil, and that's great. Now hair for me will always be right here, and this is where I have to change what I'm going to do with you a little bit, because since I do not have hair, I'm going to just show you how to do a little bit of hair for the mustache and the beard, and you can think of it as long and short hair on your head. See, even if my hair was completely black, I would let's see, you do the streaking, and I just kind of do an outline of where my beard hair is going to be. See how I did that? And it's the same thing for your head. Even if it's pure black, you want to do that. But what if your hair is real curly? Let's just say I have real curly hair, and in English you learn something called parentheses. And by changing the direction of that parentheses, you can give yourself some fluff, and it can go like this. And if your hair is real curly or wavy, watch this. And this is why it's important to have very sketcherly lines. I can make my hair look very wavy and curly at the same time, and it'll make, you know, I wish I had all that going on upstairs, but I don't. I'm going to erase all this if you don't mind. But if you have more questions about this, message me, comment, and you can always request, hey, would you do just a video on hair like I was doing? But this way I can leave it. Maybe I'll just draw up like 5 simple heads, and you guys can see different hairstyles, because it's not easy on anybody. And if you're not shown how to do it, it does make it hard. Now, I'm kind of aging myself. One of the things I'm doing is now I'm going to make my eye a little thinner. By making it as large as I did, I give myself a youthful look. By shrinking it, and maybe I can even erase some of these extra lines, it still ages me. And do a little crow's feet like you see around all the teachers and the stress you cause your parents. And so there I go. And I can work on my jaw. Let's just say I wasn't shaving as much as I should. And so I have a little bit of stubble coming off the side of my head, which is okay. And I will do that. Now, if I was drawing glasses, you'll notice I'm not really drawing much over here. And you guys probably can figure out why. Glasses, I would draw the lenses first on both eyes. I would make sure they're nice and even, okay? Then I will double line, because I have the lenses that do this. I don't have the plastic or the metal part that go to the bottom. And I'm going to stop there, and they come out over here, and then they'll go back behind my ear. See how I did that? Probably needs to be a little thicker, and then put that hook at a little bit of perspective. And like when I color, you can see that because my glasses are blue, I colored everything a type of blue. Like the pupil and my skin were the same type of blue. Then my iris, I did a medium blue with the light blue being the white part of my eye. But yet, I did do the white reflection just to give it a little artistic flair. So I can do that. So as my face is going, now I'm going to do the other side of my monstrous head. Now, one common question which I didn't answer when I was talking about hair: why is the forehead so big? Well, our heads have a slope to it. It gradually goes up. So this is the top of the forehead, where this is the top of the head. So let's just say I did have hair. I want you to look that you wear your hair on top of your head, and you can see how that looks, and it'll look normal. If I erase this line, see how that looks? It looks like I have hair on top of my head, doesn't it? Maybe this is why I should do myself as a part demon, and I can get that. And it's very important that you get the shape of your head kind of right. If you want it to look like you, like mine, I think mine's too narrow. Since I've put on weight, I'm a little chubbier in the cheeks, so I can do this and like reverse that and give some thickness to myself, and round this off a little bit. And those are the things I'd look for, just because I do want it to look like me. And I'm not too worried about what people think or say. I want to learn how to do this. Now, I'm going to give myself like an animal demon look. So I'm going to bring this down like this. I'm going to go up a little bit, like you see kind of in some of the animals. And I'm going to be a little thicker. And you ever see goat's eyes? Take a look at goat's eyes, look them up. They got this wicked looking pupil, and I really kind of like that. And it'll make this part look, extremely cool. And because I'm doing the goat-like, I think what I'll do is I'll do a ram horn coming. And let's do that. There we go. I just want to make sure. It's always hard when I don't want to draw beyond. If you get a little pencil on the table, no big deal. Just erase it off, and then I'll put a little bit of my ear, more animalistic ear here. If something has to go off the page, it has to go off the page. You don't try to put everything off the page, is what you don't want to do. And I'm going to make this a little shaggier, and so the beard is going to be a lot more shaggier. So let's say I'm going to turn my nose a little more animalistic, even though now I had fixed it a little while ago. And I'm going to take my mouth and really exaggerate it. And I'm going to let it morph into something different. So as the teeth are normal here, I would start to then change into more canine carnivore type. It does, just because you're kind of doing an animal type, doesn't have to be a mean animal. It really doesn't. And get a little Joker smile going. Yep, I can't remove the comic book out of the boy here. So I'm gonna get my fur all the way up here. And this is where color, or if I'm going to extremely shade, so let's say I'm using charcoal pencils, I can really just shade this heavy. And my eyelashes, I'm gonna go extremely long, but I only do them at the end here. And I don't know, maybe I'll do stripes too eventually. How's this ear? There we go. I think I like that. Now I'm going to work on the horn, because the horn has to grow out of the head. And okay guys, I think I gave you the proportions. I gave you some basic. I think what I'm going to do is kind of go into a little bit of a time lapse, just so you can see where I go from here. Okay, I'm at a good stopping point. As you can see, I added hair to the top of the head, and you can kind of see where if you don't have any hair, you're bald like me, it goes here, and then the hair is off the head and it comes down to the forehead. Now I made the forehead a little more dramatic, especially on my demon animal side. I got my horn and I got some light shading going on. And I got hair coming out my chin, but not on top of my lip. And I probably will do something a little different. It makes that mouth a little more dynamic. And instead of like totally drawing something totally different, I put one of my Hawaiian shirts on that I normally wear. And then I just kind of tore it up a little bit on this side. And this way, when I do some shading, I can make it look like fur here. Some basic shadows inside the sleeve. I made the neck a little different, more wrinkly, more taunt, and notice that even if all this fur was like a deep black, I didn't color it in. Don't color with the pencil. We do some light shading maybe just to help guide you, and then we'll use color or a darker pencil called an ebony pencil or a black color pencil to do that. As you can see, I can enhance that a little bit, my nose. And that's one of the reasons, like if I was just drawing myself normal, this would be just lightly shaded using a smudging stick, which I don't have one handy at the moment. And I would have shown you what that looked like. But guys, this is what we're going to get to. This is what we want to practice several times. And then we will talk about finishing, what a finish concept will look like, where it will look, whether you do it in markers. This was done in markers. This is a copy of one that was done in markers, I should say. And of course, I just did a black background where you will probably do a geometrics pattern type background to learn pattern. And the other things we could do is it's going to be charcoal pencil just to do value and keep stressing value. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, thank you for watching this. Any questions, just message me and I will try to get you the answer. I am going to do videos focused a little more on eyes, nose, and mouth because we all don't have the same eyes, nose, and mouth. So what we do when we have a wider nose, a narrow nose, a longer nose, wider lips, thinner lips, those are the type things I will try to answer and doing a basic overview on that stuff. But if there's something specific that you want, don't hesitate to ask. Bye-bye, guys.